Are you someone that likes to mess around with vintage motorcycles and you had the dreadful task ahead of you of cleaning out the inside of your gas tank? Well, this video is going to give you the easiest and cheapest solution for achieving a clean gas tank. Let's go. What's going on, boys? Welcome back to another episode, and today we're going to do a little science experiment to see if using the Works toilet bowl cleaner, some baking soda, clears out any of the rust on the inside. So this is a video I've been wanting to make for a very long time, and is also a very important video for the progress of the Club Sport rebuild. So instead of going through the major hassle of popping out all of these dents in the crash tank, big one in the front, you got this one on the side, and then you got another on the other side. And I did a little experiment with this by filling it up with water and putting it in my freezer and seeing if ice expanding the water and expanding the holes out of the tank would work. It didn't work. Maybe I didn't leave the tank in the freezer for long enough. However, it was in there for a few days and I didn't want to take any major chances. That's where we pivoted and sourced the tank. Let me show you. Sourced this 77 Super Sport tank that is, seen better days. However, all the bones are there. I just figured this would make my life easier and the process way quicker of rebuilding the Club Sport, because one of the major parts of getting this back up and going is paint and body work. But before we consider doing any body or paint work, we need to clean out the inside of this tank. And yes, there are so many different ways to clean out the inside of your vintage gas tank. Using vinegar, using a rust removal solution. There's so many different ways that you could go about cleaning out the inside of your gas tank, and I've kind of done them all. They're all very time consuming. You have to wait a week for the actual vinegar to react. So today we're gonna try the theory of using the Works toilet bowl cleaner to see if we can clean out the inside of this gas tank in a few hours worth of time. Before we get into pouring in the Works into this gas tank, I'm going to show you a clip here of the condition of the inside. So to give you guys a little perspective of the condition on the inside of the tank, you can see it is not horrible and just needs a little help. Honestly, is not in a horrible place. It's actually very revivable. Now, a big piece to us putting solution into this tank now is making sure that there's no pinholes in the actual metal, because yes, you do see some rust in some areas, and I don't think it has rusted through. However, we're going to confirm that through our theory of dumping this in. We're going to shake it around every 5-10 minutes, leave it in there for about 30 minutes, and go from there. We're going to start by putting an entire bottle in here. Make sure it's not leaking. All right, so filled it up, brought it outside. We're just going to keep shaking it around. Yeah. I might throw some nails or screws inside so it can knock around any of the rust in there. So I think I'm gonna grab a little bucket of nails, throw them in there, have them hit the sides of the gas tank. So let's do that. All right, so I'm gonna let this sit for about, 5 minutes, come back out, shake it again. We're gonna do this process about 3 times, total time of like 20-25 minutes letting this cleaner sit in there. You don't wanna let it sit in for too long, because obviously it's very aggressive stuff. I'm gonna take a look. So it's been about 15 minutes. I've shaken it 3 different times in the span of 15 minutes, and I think it's fair to check for our first time. All right, I'm actually gonna put gloves on for this because I read the directions, and this stuff is should not be legal to sell, to be very honest with you guys, but. First impression, it's cleaner. It's much cleaner. We totally knocked a ton of rust out with the nails. However, I'm gonna follow this up with 2 bottles of the Works. I'm gonna fill this whole thing up with 2 bottles, and I'm gonna let it sit for a good 45 minutes, shake it every once in a while, and I think this thing can really get clean from this process. It's super simple, super straightforward. I'm liking it so far. So let's go one step further. We used 1 bottle, shook it around 5 times in the span of 25 minutes or something like that, and now we're gonna fill it up with 2 bottles, just go all in, let it sit for extra long, and check in every so often, make sure nothing's getting crazy eaten away, and so far, so good. Let's go back outside to the boring stuff. A little dancing. stuff works really well. Like, the more you shake it, the more sudsy it gets, and the more the suds like pull off any of the dirt and like rust. It's crazy. So now, part of this process that's very important to have and note is the use of baking soda. The reason why you use baking soda after we rinse this out with water and stuff is because it helps neutralize further rusting. So right now we're using like chemicals on the steel to obviously remove the stuff. So like if you're using vinegar or like evapor rust, for example, you need to neutralize them after, otherwise it will like make flash rusting like crazy. So what you want to do is, once you rinse this out, fill it up with baking soda in the water, shake it around, and hopefully, do that once, twice. It should neutralize really well. And then the last step to this whole process is putting in like 2-stroke gas, or really just if you have gas, that's probably better than nothing. You throw gas in there, shake it around, or even a little oil, honestly, to help prevent further rusting and basically cure in the metal. So we're just using a can of water. We're gonna fill this up, rinse it, fill up this again with water, but mix it with baking soda. All right, we're back inside, and what I'm gonna do now is grab this baking soda and pour a lot of it into this can. Once we flush with baking soda and water, get all the work solution out, cleaning the tank out, get all the crap out, we're gonna hit this thing with the heat gun. Because ultimately what we're trying to do is dry out the tank the best we can and fill it up with a little mixed gas to keep it like from rusting further. I like to use in particular like 2-stroke oil, gas, mixed gas, because the oil will help further penetrate into the metal and prevent any further rusting. So we went around, I threw in maybe like a half a gallon of gas, sloshed it around a bunch. Alright guys, so big revelation here. The Works toilet bowl cleaner works. I cannot wait to reveal you the before and after. It's a night and day difference. I have learned a few things off camera that I have not shown you guys, and don't worry, if you stick around, I'll tell you the secrets. Just let me finish flushing the tank out, and I'll get back to you. Oh, got about 2 cans of screws in there. Yeah. This next rinse, I'm going to make sure I mix the water with baking soda to start neutralizing the flash rusting that's occurring. So now I'm going to take my baking soda, pour it in as much as I can. All right, guys. So this is big stuff here. This is really, really good stuff, and I really hope this video gets the love it deserves, because this is an insane new way to clean out the inside of your vintage gas tank. Granted, there are scenarios where a gas tank is just too far gone. If you have a gas tank that has like flash rusting, a good amount of rust, maybe some varnish, the Works, the toilet bowl cleaner, it works. I'm gonna end this video here, because this is all you guys need to know. This is why you just watched this video, for this moment, and I cannot wait to show you the before and after. I'm going to clip a clip of when we first started, of how it looked. And now I'm going to show you guys what it looks like after the fact. A lot of things we learned, but I'm going to get to that after I reveal the inside of the tank. Just don't go anywhere, because this is probably the most critical information you're going to want to know after I reveal the inside of this tank. Look at that. Look at that line right there. So, wow. You can see up there. So look, that's before, that's after. Absolute insanity. Looks so good. Now that we're in a phase where we can kind of wrap things up, let's take the tank, mount it to the bike, see how it looks. Not too bad. I'm liking it. Looks great. Guys, one step closer to the rebuild. The Club Sport's almost rideable again. So excited for this update and this phase. and process. But there's going to be 3 total episodes in this rebuild series. And if you don't know, this is the Club Sport CB750, originally built by milezero.racers. We're going through, it crashed back in last fall. We're going through and doing a full rebuild series, so be sure to subscribe and turn on those notification bells to this channel so you don't miss out on any updates that we'll be releasing here in the next coming weeks. And we have a lot of great stuff to share with you guys, and it's going to be a 3-part series. But enough of that. Let's get back to the episode and give you my honest review of the process of using the Works toilet bowl cleaner to clean out the inside of our gas tank. All right, I gotta sit down for this. I gotta sit down because this is revolutionary. Wow. The amount of times I've struggled to clean out the inside of a gas tank with gallons of vinegar, gallons of evapor rust, all this stuff. Guess what? It never ends up actually looking good in the end. At least I haven't figured it out. However, the Works toilet bowl cleaner works. And a few things I've learned. I know we started this episode by me saying only 20, 30 minutes, a quick turnaround at a time, flush it out. Nothing really happened when the 2 times I let it sit in there for 25 minutes and shook it 5 times and let it sit in there for an hour, shook it a few times. What really made the difference was I was in the shop from 1 p.m. to about 6 p.m. And the whole day I had it soaking in the Works toilet bowl cleaner, and I would periodically shake it with screws in there and to help knock off the rust and flaky stuff in there. One thing I noticed, and you could see in the reveal, the before and after clip I just showed you of where it looks clean, you could see that sort of like line, that line mark where it's like clean below and then rusty above. Guys, it comes down to filling up the tank full with the Works or close to it, and then letting it sit for like 4 hours. Let's call it 2 to like 8 hours depending on the severity of your tank. You do not want to leave this stuff overnight for days. It's aggressive. Clearly, it just cleaned the inside of my gas tank in 4 hours. That's unheard of. This is a great solution. Do not worry. Do not think it's going to be crazy because honestly, this was the easiest it's ever been for me to clean a tank, and I've cleaned, I don't know, 10 gas tanks that are in horrible condition. I've used vinegar. I've used all the things that are out there on the internet. I haven't seen any videos on this toilet bowl cleaner method. Shout out to my good friend BJ from Brickhouse Builds for giving me this little pointer, and I wanted to do a full-blown video and test the theory of it and see if it works because, guys, it does. So we're going to wrap it up here, and I'm glad that this video is not a waste and we have a full, successful experiment to share with you all. So as always, we're one team, one family. Thanks for being the dopest crew out there. I hope you enjoyed the video. Consider subscribing to the channel as it really helps us keep going. We would really appreciate it. And check out any of the links in the description below, either merch or look at that little milezero Marlboro action, or we got the nice hoodies with the art in motion on the back. Yeah, so we would appreciate any support. Check out the links below, and we'll catch you in the next episode. Peace.